Oh, you're live.
Okay, I think I'm on. I think I'm live. I'm just trying to get everything back up here for a
I
second.
don't know how your Wi-Fi is.
I think I turned it off, so
Okay.
I'll just wait for a few seconds. Can you see on yours at all? Hi everyone, Michelle Ferreri here, Member of Parliament for Peterborough Kawartha, and I actually do have a guest today, Ryan Moore. We won't be spending a love day tomorrow. I'll be doing important work in the House of Commons, and so we were just chatting. So I thought I would break it down with you guys. What's actually happening tomorrow in the House of Commons and what everybody is talking about. So I'm going to break it down. So on Thursday, we had an opposition day in the House of Commons and a motion was put forth. I'm going to read you the motion. Text of the motion: that given that provinces are lifting COVID-19 restrictions and that Dr. Theresa Tam has said that all existing public health measures need to be re-evaluated so that we can get back to some normalcy, the House call on the government to table a plan for the lifting of federal mandates and restrictions and to table that plan by February 28th, 2022. The sponsor is Candice Bergen, who is the interim leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. So that is the motion that is tabled, and tomorrow after question period, we will be voting on this motion. My inbox right now is flooded with hundreds and hundreds of emails because people are sending messages to their MPs asking how they will vote. This will be one of the most watched votes in a long time. Can you think of a vote that you've seen recently that will have this much attention of the country?
No, this one should be well watched by everybody.
Okay, so the way it works, and you can just
Glad I'm all dressed up.
it's a farmer. Okay, farmers feed us, which so of course I'd love to see what you're gonna vote, and I will share what my vote is shortly. Obviously, I think you probably have a pretty good idea what I'm gonna vote since it's our motion. But just so you know, how do we win a vote? Well, there's 119 Conservative members in the House. There's 32 Bloc, 25 NDP, 2 Green, 1 Independent. The rest, obviously, are Liberal. But what we've seen, there's 338 seats in the House, so obviously you have to win a majority to win a vote. But what we've seen in the last week is that 4 Liberals have broke rank with the Liberals, calling on Justin Trudeau that he's politicizing this. So it's possible, like, we would need some Liberals to come with us to win, or we would need all the Bloc, all the NDP, and the Green and the Independent to win. So that's what will happen tomorrow. You can watch it on CPAC, and hopefully, we're giving some time. I think if I was to make a plea to Liberals, obviously I'm going to be voting to end the mandates, but I think if I was going to be making a plea to Liberals or somebody who's on the fence about what to do with this vote, I think I would say this. We did what we had to do in the beginning of this pandemic. We were handed something unknown. We put in restrictions. We put in these things, and we did it. And as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I have lived a life of trying things and hoping that they work. And sometimes they don't work, right? Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. But we know now that this has come to a point where we need to off-ramp and we need to exit and we need to start to learn to live with this. I hosted a passport clinic on Saturday, and I had a chance to talk to tons of constituents with all different political stripes, all different backgrounds. And I had, one woman told me this heartbreaking story of her husband who died April 6, 2020, and he died alone. She never got to have a funeral. She broke down. She started to cry. She said, "Michelle, it was the worst year of my life. I would never wish that on anyone." Another woman who was, she said, "I have been told for 2 years to be afraid. I'm nervous. I don't want to take off my mask. I'm still afraid." And I think by lifting the mandates, we're saying, if you still want to wear a mask, still wear a mask. Like, I think we have to trust Canadians to make their own assessment of their risk tolerance and still being mindful of other people's health and safety. And I trust Canadians to do this. So that's what will happen, and we'll see there is a really, really powerful note, and I don't know, Ryan, if you want me to read it. It's in my bag right behind me. It's in a little brown envelope. You've just got, this has impacted people so differently because it's been so individual across all lines. And so now I think we have to move into a space where we have to assess and find that balance of social and mental health and economic issues and stop the division. And I think, you know, there's a bit of accountability on both extreme sides. You know, people who say, don't wear a mask, you're an idiot, that doesn't help. And people who say, you know, wear a mask, you're an idiot, that doesn't help, you know. So I think that middle ground somewhere of doing that, and I think that's why lifting this federal mandate gives a little more choice and autonomy, and quite frankly, I think Canadians are wonderful people, and I think they did a lot what was asked of them. Were you going to say something?
Well, I was what can somebody do to, I guess, maybe help influence the vote tomorrow? Not even necessarily in this riding, but wherever you are in Canada, like contact your local MP and let them know. Great question.
And I think, thank you, Ryan, for that. That's exactly why you're here. So thank you. You do have to reach out to your MP. And if you have a Liberal MP or you have an NDP, and it doesn't matter what political stripe, I have to listen to every constituent. And I've been listening. I read all your emails. There's tons of you who don't agree with me. Like, I'm in a bellwether riding. Peterborough is a microcosm of the entire country. So I have as many people sometimes who disagree with me who agree with me. And it's important that we listen to everybody.
You do get a lot of those.
A lot.
You get some very interesting emails.
So I would say you have to message your MP and tell them what you want and put it in writing. That is the biggest thing. I just want to read this letter to you because it struck me to the core yesterday. So after our passport clinic was done, we thought everybody was done, and there was a knock on the door, and this gentleman and his son knocked on the door, and I said, oh, our passport clinic's, you know, we have to book another appointment. No, I'm here to drop off a letter. I want to read this letter to you that was hand delivered to me by a 12-year-old boy and his dad. Dear Miss Ferreri, I know you're a very important person, so I thank you for taking the time to read my letter. I'm a normal 12-year-old boy, except that I'm fearful of getting vaccinated. As a result, I can't play soccer with my team, and I can't go visit my grandfather in England. I have just joined the Ontario Professional Development League, and I want to pursue my dreams and play soccer for Canada, and also I want to see my grandfather, whom I love so much. I want my life back to being normal and not feel like an outcast. I know I've said a lot of wants, and that might seem selfish, but I feel I'm being forced into making an adult decision. I would like to ask you to speak with your important friends and help stop these unfair restrictions on Canadian youth. Once again, I'm grateful for your time reading this. He left his name here, but I didn't ask if I could read it on social media, so I'm not going to read his name. But the reality is, this is tough. This impacts every single person so differently and so individually that I believe that we need to start treating it that way and let people have the autonomy and choice. I trust Canadians to make the best choice for themselves. So we have to trust people to assess their own risk tolerance. That's really what it comes down to. So keep up the conversation. And most importantly, we can go back to saying, hey, whatever you choose to do, that's great, right? Remember those days? Do you remember when we used to be able to do that? I think we can do that again. And I think ending these mandates is a first step to doing that, because it won't be that discussion and undertone.
It's true.
Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. So hopefully we can win this vote. And again, if you're against it, for it, whatever, write a letter. Write a letter to your MP.
I don't know if you can read all those comments.
There's one here she's not happy at all. Shame on you. Okay, so you are not, this is from Jan DeWars. You are not a very important person. If you were, you would not be as ineffectual as you are. Shame on you. The reality is you are a parasite.
So she's a supporter.
So thanks, Jan, for that. You're allowed to feel that way. And if you feel that passionately, what do you want to change? How do you want to support change? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? How do we get people to respect each other's choices? How do we do that? Please make sure that no passport is being part. I'm trying to read some of these. You guys have sent me so many. I've read so many letters, so much, and I thank you for all of them. Have a good Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow. Join in right after QP. So QP, just so you know, is QP is question period. For those of you who have never followed politics before and now you care, QP is question period. You can watch it on CPAC. You can watch it live. It happens from 2. SO31s, which are statements, start from 2 to 2:15. Then we have question period from 2 to 3. Sometimes it runs a little bit later and goes into around the 3:15, and then we will have a vote. And you can watch it live on House of Commons, and I would encourage you to do it and take part. Thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you soon.